I'm Gil Bright. The people that run my campaign, they've made this commercial, and I'm in it. This campaign, it's not about me. It's about crafting a version of me that'll appeal to you. A version that visits random work sites with paid actors pointing at things. A version of me that doesn't find old people loathsome or pointless. Has a conventionally attractive yet curiously still family. Listening to my constituents, legislating, these are things I don't do. What I do is spend about 70% of my time raising funds for re-election. I'd do anything to stay in office. My name's Gil Bright, but hell, I'll change my name to Phil Goldbright, or Bill Fulbright, or fill up my mouth with farts. These are the things that are important to me. And these are the fine people that finance my campaign. Now, in order to do these things, I have to stay in office. And to stay in office, I have to keep these guys happy. Now, if any of these things make these guys unhappy, well, my hands are tied. So come November, the choice is clear. Do you want another spineless mouthpiece for special interest and lobbyists, or a spineless mouthpiece for special interest and lobbyists? I'm Philip a Mouth with Farts, and I approve this message.
The weapons of mass destruction, the missiles are on the Lord's band, they're pointed at every nation. Joy gets shorter, crates of guns and ammo, from country to country they go.
All right, welcome back to day 2. We're into the eyes. So first up, we got Idaho, and you have Republican incumbent Jim Bright going against Paulette Jordan, a Democrat. Now, I looked around, and neither one of these guys have any videos. I mean, I just took the shortest video that they had, because both of them have like 4 videos on each of their channels on YouTube. So, I don't know. They're both like a minute and a half, so I gotta play them because, to be fair. So first up, we're gonna do Jim Bright. Jim Bright. Jim Rich. All right.
I'm Jim Risch. Hello from Washington, D.C., where things are unlike anything I've seen in my years in both the Idaho Senate and the United States Senate. The streets are quiet, restaurants and bars are closed, and the airport is eerily empty. Well, it is unsettling for all of us to look across our state, nation, and the world and see things so changed. It is critically important that we all do our part to help contain COVID-19 and keep it from spreading. The number of confirmed cases in Idaho is growing. We're one of the last states to see this outbreak, which gives us critical time to prepare. Governor Little is leading our great state through this unprecedented situation. I thank him, state and local officials, and Idahoans across the state, all of whom I have great confidence in, and all of whom have acted quickly to make disruptive but necessary changes to address these issues.
All right, well, wasn't really a campaign ad, but it's the only thing he had. The only thing he had up there. So I would imagine Idaho is going to be pretty red, so they're not spending any money in Idaho. I think it's a given, you know. It's like New York's races. They don't really spend much money in New York because they're gonna vote Democrat anyways. So all right, let's see what this other woman has to say. All right, this is Paulette Jordan, the Democrat in Idaho.
I think everybody should support Paulette because it's time for a change.
She is really looking out for us and our next generation of people.
She cares. She listens.
I think she is brilliant. I think she's smart. I think she can connect with people from all different areas of life, young, old, rural, urban.
We support Paulette because first and foremost, she cares. Every lifestyle, every background, every color and shape.
She's always looking out for others around her, that she doesn't have ulterior motives, that she's very honest and forthcoming, and that she really fights for what she believes in and for what is best.
She has integrity, she's very well spoken, and she thinks of everybody like family.
I think that she's a positive role model. She has experience, and I think she would be a great representation of all the people of Idaho.
I think everybody should support.
All right, first of all, this chick here with a Bernie shirt on, I don't know why you would put her on your video, because, you know, you're promoting yourself, not Bernie Sanders. I don't, that always bothered me about people, like when they're doing, like, when I'm in the band, I generally do not wear another band's t-shirt if I'm doing an interview or taking pictures, because it's just kind of cheesy, man. It's cheesy. But anyways, it was nice. It was all right. It was okay. Milk toast again. It was not bad. But, you know, 95% of the people who spoke about her were women. She didn't really capture a whole. She didn't try to go after a whole. She didn't try to go after all of us, I guess I'm trying to say. But, oh well. It wasn't too bad. Like I said, here's the tail of the tape. Here's the tail of the tape. Two-term Republican Jim Risch was easily reelected in 2014. On August 13th, 2019, he announced that he would seek a third term. Former gubernatorial nominee Paulette Jordan won the Democrat nomination in a primary against retired cop Jim Vandermoss. All right, so there's not much here, but as you can see, Idaho is solid Republican, safe Republican. So they're not going to spend much money. They're not going to spend it. The RNC is not going to spend any money in this place because it's a pretty safe bet that this guy will get reelected. So that's that. Pretty standard. That seat's safe. Next up, we have Illinois. Now, we all know Illinois is very blue. So you have Dick Durbin, the Democrat incumbent, against Mark Curran, the Republican. So not a whole lot of videos to go on here either. I mean, the only thing I found that was short enough to play, and which I was kind of impressed with, Dick Durbin actually has a welcome video to his YouTube. It's not going to tell you much, but I'm going to play it just because, you know, it's the shortest video that he has. So, and he doesn't have any ad campaign videos at all. So, you know, again, Chicago or Illinois, they're not going to spend any money.
Hello, I'm Senator Dick Durbin, and welcome to my YouTube channel. On this page, you can watch my work around the state of Illinois, and I've also shared clips from some of the efforts I'm making in Washington on behalf of Illinois. You can watch me tell stories on the Senate floor about dreamers and about students who've been exploited by the for-profit college industry. You're going to also be able to find answers to questions as I've asked at Senate hearings about many things across America, the state of civil rights, the importance of investing in medical research. I hope you'll take a few moments to explore my YouTube channel. If you'd like to receive regular updates, subscribe by clicking the red button above this video. And you can always learn more about what I'm working on by visiting my webpage, signing up for my new e-newsletter at www.durbin.senate.gov. Thanks.
All right, well, that's from Dick Durbin. And again, he's the only one I've seen so far that has a welcome video to his YouTube channel. He's got 3.81 thousand subscribers, so he's doing pretty good. He's doing pretty good. But there's no ad campaign videos at all in here. So obviously, again, he's probably going to be an easy win. So, all right, next up is Mark Curran. He's the Republican runner in Illinois. So let's check it out.
Hi, Mark Curran, the Republican nominee for United States Senate from Illinois. I'm here in Illinois, but on the other side of the mighty Mississippi is Missouri.
Wow.
Illinois can't afford to
Did you
lose any
film
more
this with a
people to
flip
Missouri.
phone, dude?
We need to make Illinois competitive again. If you look out at the St. Louis skyline and
It's a creepy dude
the
in the
Arch
corner.
and the Cardinal Baseball Stadium and Laclede's Landing over there, it has a lot to offer. We have more in Illinois. When I become United States Senator from Illinois, I'll have people from Missouri come in to visit us. And I look forward to replacing this guy, Dick Durbin, and look forward to working with the Missouri Senators, Josh Hawley and Roy Blunt. I need your help. I need your support. Go to electcurran.com. Mark Curran for United States Senate.
Wow, dude. You're a sheriff. You have, well, in Illinois, I guess being a sheriff is not, it's not going to be a positive thing. Maybe it could be to a lot of people. I don't know. But Jesus, what, did he film that on a flip phone or something? I mean, talk about not spending any money. Wow, there's nothing going on there. All right, so, well, let's go through the tail of the tape. Four-term Democrat Dick Durbin, the Senate Majority Whip, was reelected in 2014 and seeking a fifth term. Mark Curran, who served as sheriff of Lake County from 2006 to 2018, won the Republican primary with 41.55% of the vote and will face Durbin in the general election. Anti-war activist Marlene Jordan Lawler, a state representative, and State Representative Annie Stava Murray were going to challenge Durbin in the Democrat primary, but both withdrew. Wow, that's kind of sad. I would like to have an anti-war activist in there. Republicans who ran include businessman Casey Schlebach, U.S. Navy veteran and former police officer Peggy Hubbard, Vietnam War veteran, physician, and 2018 Democratic primary candidate for governor of Illinois, Robert Marshall. He was going to run with the Republicans. Wow. Omid Mimar, a dermatologist convicted of healthcare fraud in 2018. And Preston Gabriel Nelson, Dan Supplefrick, and Tom Tarter. Those were all the Republicans that ran. Huh. For the Republican Party, that would have been interesting. But of course, obviously, Iowa or Illinois, I mean, solid Democrat, and it's not going anywhere. That's a safe seat. All right, next up is Iowa, and I gotta tell you, it's a battleground state, but you got incumbent Joni Ernst, the Republican, going against Teresa Greenfield, the Democrat. And I gotta tell you, I've been searching for the last 20 minutes for a campaign ad from Joni Ernst, and I found nothing. I mean, I found her YouTube channel, but there's nothing on it, so I'm just going to play this 39-second clip from her, because it's the only thing that's really on there. I mean, there's like a lot of her in the Senate, but they're all like 15-20 minutes long, so...
Yeah. Hey folks, today we are out doing a diaper drive-through, and I'm fighting for our Iowa families every single day, requesting additional dollars for diaper assistance. $200 million additional dollars in future COVID package is what I've requested. There are so many Iowa families in need. We certainly need support on this. This is one way we've been able to help, is by diaper distribution with all of these wonderful volunteers. One thing we'd like to remind everybody, please support those nonprofits and those organizations in your community for all of those great families in need. God bless you all. Thanks so much.
All right, so that's Joni Ernst. I couldn't find anything else. I mean, if this is like a purple state big time. This woman better get on the ball quickly. I mean, maybe she has the confidence that she's going to win, but according to some of the polling data I've seen, it's super, super close. All right, so here's Joni Greenfield, the Democrat.
We don't have lobbyists
What?
or millions of dollars. We expect our representatives to be our voice. I'm Teresa Greenfield, and I'm running for Senate to work for Iowans. After taking $2 million from corporate PACs, Joni Ernst has forgotten that. She gave huge breaks to Wall Street, drug, and insurance companies, and we got the short end of the stick. I'm Teresa Greenfield, and I don't take a dime of corporate PAC money, and I approve this message because we need a senator who works for Iowa.
All right. That would have been pretty good, but that first one, like, threw me for a loop.
We don't have lobbyists.
Who does these videos for these people? Man, why would you put... It's a good concept. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a good concept that she's talking for the people. But to put that, a man with that woman's voice right into that video just straight up like that, it's kind of shocking. I don't think I would have used a woman first. I would have used her first, and then went from there. But I mean, it's a good concept. I understand what she's trying to do, but it was just kind of like, it was a little weird. Oh, the tape. Republican Joni Ernst was elected in 2014 after serving 4 years in the Iowa Senate. She is seeking a second term. Democrats in the primary included former Vice Admiral Michael T. Franken, attorney Kimberly Graham, and businessman Eddie Morrow. Real estate broker Teresa Greenfield won the nomination. Ernst's popularity has dropped in the polls, allegedly due to support for Trump's trade tariffs, and that have impacted Iowa farmers. But Democrats have had a hard time winning statewide in Iowa in recent years, narrowly losing the governor's election in 2018. Trump won the state by 9 points in 2016 after Barack Obama carried it in both 2008 and 2012. Democrats do hold 3 of the Iowa's 4 congressional seats, picking up 2 of them in 2018. Greenfield, a first-time candidate backed by the Democrat establishment, defeated Admiral Michael Franken, attorney Kimberly Graham. We already know. She and Ernst are polling neck and neck in the general election, but Greenfield lacks name recognition, despising raising more money than Ernst. Oof. I have a feeling that's going to flip, because it doesn't look like Joni Ernst is really doing anything besides she's just running on her name, which, I mean, sometimes would be enough for most normies out there, but oof, that's a tough one. They better get in there and start spending some money in Iowa, that's for sure. But I don't know, we'll see, because as you can see, Iowa, it's a toss-up between the whole thing. Their polling is I've seen the polls on this, and it's close. It's a close race. And like I said, I literally looked everywhere. I looked on Twitter, I looked on her own website, I looked YouTube, I looked, everywhere. I looked everywhere for a Joni Ernst ad, and it's just none to be found. So I don't know. That could be a switch. I have a feeling this one's going to switch, especially since the other what they said, the other 4 seats in Iowa are all Democrat. right, next up is Kansas. We got a 4-term Republican, Pat Roberts, that's retiring. So we got 2 new people here. We got Roger Marshall, Republican, and Barbara Boiler, the Democrat. So let's take a look. This is Dr. Roger Marshall.
For 5,000 Kansans, life began here, in the trusted hands of Dr. Roger Marshall. For Dr. Marshall, pro-life's not a slogan, it's his life's work. In Congress, Dr. Marshall's delivered for Kansas, doing exactly what he said he'd do. Fought for our farms and small towns, our families and freedoms. Stood strong with the president to make America great again. Voting 98% to support the Trump agenda.
I want to thank Congressman Roger Marshall. Roger's been a great friend.
Now Trump needs a trusted ally in the Senate. Dr. Marshall will deliver. Secure the border. Confirm conservative judges. Turn back the radical socialists who'd destroy our way of life. And we can count on Marshall to defend our religious freedoms, the right to life, the bedrock Christian values we cherish at our core. Dr. Roger Marshall for Senate. Trusted by Trump, delivering for Kansas. He always has.
All right. Well, you know, it's the Bible Belt. It's a good ad. I like it. I like it. It's it appeals to a lot of people in the Midwest, I would imagine. So, okay, that was a nice ad. Okay, next up we have Dr. Barbara Boiler. Wow, they're both doctors. This is interesting. Okay, let's listen to her.
For me, healthcare isn't just another issue. It's in my DNA. Mom was a nurse, Dad, a doctor. They raised us to help people whenever we could. It's why I became a doctor too. I'm Barbara Bollier. Right now, we need leaders who aren't driven by party politics, just by the desire to make things better for families. I approve this message because I became a doctor to help people, and I'm running for Senate for the very same reason. For me...
Okay, both doctors. That was a decent ad, nice ad. I liked it. They both seem like nice people. Her doctor experience is more for the healthcare side, and his doctor experience is more for the right to life side. So, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Dr. Boyle. That's how you say her name. So, 4-term Republican Pat Roberts is retiring and will not run for re-election. Former Secretary of State Chris Kobach, State Turnpike Authority Chairman, and former Kansas City Chief defensive end David Lindstrom, I remember him. U.S. Representative Roger Marshall, plumber, businessman Bob Hamilton, Kansas Board of Education member Steve Roberts, State Senate President Susan Waggle, and Republican Socialist. That's weird. I have to look that one up, see what the heck that is. Brian Matlock all announced their candidacies, and Waggle since withdrew. So Susan Waggle withdrew. Other potential candidates who ultimately did not run included State Attorney General Derek Schmidt and wealthy businessman and former 2018 Lieutenant Governor nominee Wink Hartman. All right, we're running for the Republicans. Kansas State Treasurer Jake LaTurner previously sought the nomination, but announced on September 3rd, 2019 that he would drop out of the Senate race to run for the U.S. House of Representatives. There was considerable speculation about a Senate bid by Mike Pompeo, the United States Secretary of State, former director of the Central Intelligence Agency, and former U.S. Representative for Kansas's 4th congressional district, but he did not run. Well, he's got bigger fish to fry as the Secretary of State, boy. Among Democrats, former Republican turned Democrat, State Senator Barbara Bollier ran and faced Robert Tillman, nominee for Kansas's 4th Congressional District in 2012 and candidate in 2016 and 2017. Former U.S. Attorney Barry Grissom, Mayor of Manhattan Yusha Reddy, and former Congresswoman Nancy Boyda primary. Former Governor Kathleen Sebelius declined to run. Marshall and Bollier won their primaries and will face off in the general election. Okay. Wow, a lot of people ran for this position. That's a lot of people. So, David Lindstrom ran for the Republicans, huh? All right, cool. I liked him. He was good. He was a good player. So, Kansas leans Republican, likely Republican. So, they're both doctors. She seems pretty centrist as a Democrat. She used to be it says she used to be a Republican. So, most likely to go to the Republican. But they put the Republican turned Democrat in the Democrat spot. So that could affect things. We'll see. We'll see. All right, so we got Kentucky. We got the incumbent Mitch McConnell against the runner Amy McGrath, the Democrat. So let's see. This is Mitch McConnell.
Does this look like a peaceful protest to you? My opponent, Amy McGrath, says it is. A peaceful protest? Vandalism, assault, and worse? McGrath says it's un-American to protect federal buildings from being burned. I believe we have a duty to protect Americans from violence that's devastating our communities. It starts with having the courage to say, this isn't a peaceful protest. It's a violent attempt to destroy our communities. It requires clarity to say that radical ideas, like defunding the police, will not help victims. It will create them. Peaceful protesters don't use Molotov cocktails to have their voices heard. They don't attempt to blind law enforcement officers with lasers in order to be seen. And in Kentucky, we don't send senators to Washington who lack the judgment to stand up to violent mobs. I'm Mitch McConnell, and I approve this message.
All right, Mitch. That was a decent ad. Wasn't too harsh, but I mean, he told the truth. So there you go. Well, this is what gets me on this one is that Iowa, which is a purple state, she doesn't have any ads at all. But this guy's been in office since like 1984. So if he's running ads, I don't understand why that girl, the lady in Iowa, isn't. It's weird. Let's hear from Amy McGrath.
What is leadership? And where are we seeing it in the middle of everything we're going through right now? I'm Amy McGrath, and just like when I served in combat, we can see our leaders on the front lines. Only this time it's in our states. Republican governors like Mike DeWine in Ohio, and Larry Hogan in Maryland, and Democrats like Andrew Cuomo in New York, and our own Governor Andy Beshear. They're all showing us what real leadership is, and political party has nothing to do with it. I lived this kind of leadership as a Marine. We didn't care about politics. We just wanted to serve our country. But Senator McConnell sees it differently. He doesn't want to pass what he calls blue state bailouts. even though Kentucky would get badly needed help too. It's why he said we should just declare bankruptcy. For Senator McConnell, it's always about politics. I approve this message because as your senator, for me, it'll always be about you.
Alrighty. Amy McGrath. I like the fact that she tried to put in a couple of Republican governors as leadership, as good leadership. You know, she trying to get that nonpartisan thing going. So that's pretty good. That was fine. But I'm from New York and I know what Cuomo has done. So to me, that's a bad. Don't put Cuomo in there if you want. All right. Anyways. All right, Kentucky. 6-term Republican and current Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was reelected by a comfortable margin in 2014 and is seeking a 7th term. Most pundits see this as a likely Republican hold due to McConnell's large amount of re-election campaign funds, but he is one of the country's most unpopular senators. I don't know about that. And his Democratic opponent, former Marine fighter pilot Amy McGrath, has been a strong fundraiser and trails McConnell only by single digits in polling. McConnell has proven to be a tough campaigner. However, and Kentucky is one of the most Republican states in the country. Democrat Andy Beshear nearly won Kentucky's governor's race in 2019, unseating a unpopular Republican incumbent. Mary Ann Tobin filed papers to run for the U.S. Senate on January 10th. She is the former Kentucky editor of public accounts and a state legislator. Amy McGrath announced her candidacy on July 9th. She is a former Marine and Navy pilot who ran unsuccessfully for Congress in 2018 against incumbent Representative Andy Barr. Charles Booker, a member of the Kentucky House of Representatives and Kentucky's youngest black state lawmaker, entered the state race on January 5th and weeks before the primary. Booker gained popularity among progressives in the United States after the killing of George Floyd. McGrath defeated him by less than 3 percentage points. Other candidates for the Democrat nomination were Jimmy Osbrook, a mental health counselor, Mike Boyer, farmer and former U.S. Marine, Andrew Maynard, John Sharpenstein, a local businessman owner, and Bernie Smith. Other potential Democrat candidates included State Representative Rocky Atkinson and Steve Cox, a registered pharmacy technician, dropped out and endorsed Booker. So, let's see what these guys say. Kentucky is likely Republican, solid Republican. Most likely Mitch will get back in. I love how WikiLeaks throws their little jabs in there. I'm using it because it's actually giving me some insight, but they are a little bit biased. They definitely are biased. So, anyways, there's that. Okay, the last one for this one is Louisiana. Republican Bill Cassidy was elected in 2014 after serving 6 years in the United States House of Representatives, defeating 3-term Democrat Mary Landrieu. He is running for re-election. Multiple Democrat candidates are running, but Democrat Senate Campaign Committee has endorsed Shreveport Mayor Adrian Perkins. A Louisiana primary is like a form of a jungle primary. Will be held on November 3rd. If no candidate wins a majority of the vote in the primary, a runoff election will be held. Okay, so Louisiana is a little different than everybody else. So I had to go look it up, and it's a jungle, like a jungle primary, no matter what. So if somebody doesn't get a majority, then it goes to a December election. And as you can see, there's 15 different people running. So I took the top two, which is Bill Cassidy, who's the incumbent, and Adrian Perkins, who was endorsed by the Democrat Senatorial Campaign Committee. So I'm figuring those are the two top runners. So I'll show you that. Now, here's the other thing too. Again, this is another one where I don't understand. Bill Cassidy has no videos out, and Adrian Perkins, I went to his website. That's the only place I could find a video. But it's like 2.5 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll play the first minute of it. It's, it does a good job of up to the first minute, and then it just kind of starts repeating itself afterwards anyway, so. Okay. I found this one. It's a minute long from Bill Cassidy. It's basically talking about COVID relief, but I mean, it gives you a look at who he is. And
I'm in COVID heavy, Washington D.C., wearing my mask. Who dat? People are frustrated because Democrats and Republicans haven't been able to agree to a bill. We haven't. The HEROES Act, which Pelosi is insisting on, has all kinds of things unrelated to COVID. It mentions marijuana more than it mentions coronavirus. More than it mentions jobs. Think about that. Marijuana more than jobs. Now, it may be important legislation, got nothing to do with coronavirus. So why don't we just focus on that which helps the families first? The Republicans and the president have suggested, let's do a short-term extension on unemployment.
I just got to say right off the bat, dude, if you're pushing for masks and you're wearing your mask like that, it's not doing a goddamn thing. I don't understand these people that do this, man. Ugh, this whole push for masks, and then you got a bunch of people wearing a piece of cloth over their face. If it's a virus, you gotta have. I mean, come on. This is absolutely dumb. But anyways, I'll let him finish.
And then we can argue about everything else later. No, Pelosi wants everything. She's not going to help the families who are unemployed unless she gets everything. It's not in good faith. It's not in good faith with our institutions. It's not in good faith with the families that are unemployed. Let's hope she reconsiders. Thanks.
All right. Well, I said my piece about his mask. It's slipping down off his face. You people do realize what a virus is, right? It's this tiny little thing. And if your piece of cloth has bigger openings than that virus is, then that virus is just gonna go right through it. Stupid. All right, so let's listen to the. I'll play the first minute of Adrian Perkins. See, this says it's on YouTube, and I couldn't find it.
As a child, I remember running down these roads and playing in these fields. My granddad was a sharecropper right here in Bossier Parish. I've traveled many miles from those days, fought in 2 wars, but the road I've taken in life always led me back to the Louisiana I love. I was raised by an amazing mom with support from my brothers and grandparents. Mom taught me to follow my faith and never give up on chasing my dreams. But after September 11th, I was moved to serve my country. At West Point, my fellow cadets asked me to lead. In Iraq, I guided troops on combat patrols, then on to Army Ranger School. Awarded a Bronze Star. 2 tours in Afghanistan, leading. Nearly a decade in uniform, I was ready for the next part of my journey, Harvard Law School.
Harvard.
But when the job offers from the big cities across the country came, with salaries my granddad could never have imagined, I considered the offers, but I just couldn't do it. I said no. I had to come back home to help my hometown get back on its feet. And that's exactly what I did. I'm Adrian Perkins, Mayor of Shreveport and candidate for the United States Senate. I fought for our country.
All right. Wow. Dude's got a resume, man. Dude has a resume. That was a nice commercial. I liked it. Liked it a lot. Very good, Adrian. I hope you do well. I hope you do well. Let's look. We already read pretty much the whole thing about Louisiana and their jungle primary. Louisiana is solid Republican, safe, solid Republican. Although I did like that guy. Mayor of Shreveport. Although I heard there's some stuff going on down there about a man dying in the hands of, another police brutality type of thing. So that might, with the way things are right now, that might put a big damper on him. But it sucked. I thought he looked like a good candidate. Comes from humble background, and the man achieved a lot. That's a guy who took the ball and ran with it, if you know what I mean. Why he's a Democrat, I don't know. But, whatever. Nice. All right, so that's Louisiana. All right, so that was I through L. And so we'll go on to M's next. So stay tuned.